I'm Lee Laverack. I'm a self-employed luthier and backline technician, and I run Laverack Guitars, which is a guitar repair service, and custom built guitars and hand wound pickups. Being musically and mechanically minded and wanting to try and become a guitar shredder god, I got into electric guitars that way and found that there were a course in building electric guitars at the Leeds College of Music, which I started in 2000 to 2004, which gave me, it paired up the mechanical side of wanting to create things and music at the same time, so put them two things together, and then saw the course out through the end and decided after a while that I should make it a job. You don't have to go and study under a tutor to be able to build instruments. You know, you can find out other routes, and there's a lot of information out there, but going and doing the course in a regimented style with coursework and taking things step-by-step processes gives you a lot more of a foundation than just going out there and, you know, blindly trying. Although you can achieve it, it's definitely well, it's why I'm here today, really. Through repairing and making guitars, I got into the live aspect of it, on the road work, working with musicians and bands throughout tours and concerts and theatres. So that was it branched out. That was another aspect of the music industry which opened up for me as well. And so there's various roles involved. Being in charge of all the musical equipment, and then taking it to the venue and setting it up for a live performance, maintaining the instruments, maintaining any amplification and drum kits, as well as dealing with the band members themselves as people and personalities. With the making and repair side, it's good to have dexterity for an aptitude for hand tools. That's your core basics, and then it comes down to eye for detail and ear for sound as well. They're natural progressions. Obviously, working with instruments and music, sound is the end result, but there's much more to building a guitar than just wanting it to create a sound. There's also the craftsmanship of the style, you know, the way things you join them together, different techniques to get the same result, and finding easier techniques to do that, and being able to overcome problems and learning from mistakes. If you've got the desire to do something, then that's your first starting point, and then all the other technical aspects will come naturally by that desire to want to do it. You'll want to go find out those processes. Playing in a couple of bands for about 17, 18 years, so and still going, obviously, because I'm not that old, but knowing how to set my own equipment up and what my effects and the things I wanted to achieve through my guitar gear led me to be competent to help other people with their gear, because some people are better at playing the instrument than the actual setting the stuff up it needs to make that instrument. But yeah, the playing in various gigs and venues and stuff helps with the aptitude to be able to source problems when needed as well, with various cheap equipment. When you're in a band starting up, you can't afford, so you've got to get gear that doesn't really work, so your next job is, well, I've got to keep fixing it, and then that becomes enjoyable sometimes. I class myself as freelance sole trader is what they call it in the tax business, which means that there's only really me to answer for. If something doesn't get achieved or goals don't get met, then it's only myself that's responsible for it and not others, which is in itself a great responsibility. But I also, in the freelance side of things, you get then put under somebody's employ. You agree to take up a contract maybe, or a verbal agreement, so then you'll go and to that job and find out what needs to be done, what's required of you, and meet those requirements to the best you can, really. And then some people will keep you in their employ for a next job or a next job, and then you'll get passed on, your name gets passed around, and other people want you for certain parts of the time. So you find out when you're available, and if you're available and you want to do it, and then apply from there and carry on. And very much a word of mouth then starts to roll on. On the touring guitar tech backline circuit, when you're working with multiple people, you very much have to be part of a team in order to get the goal achieved, which is to do the show, to make the audience go home happy. You do have to work together. You do have to be part of a team, and not just with your touring party. When you get to the venue, you have to be part of a team with the in-house technical crew. You have to work with them. The promotion side of the people there, you have to work with those, and any people that might want to come and do press or interviews with the band. That's still working as part of a team. I do like a lot of solitude when I'm repairing and making anything in my workshop. Obviously I have to deal with customers and stuff, and I'm more than happy to spend a couple of hours talking about guitars, of course, or various design options and what that customer wants for their instrument. But then when it's time to tools in hand, it's like, I've got to switch off from as much as possible and be dedicated to that. I first started off taking it up as a job, as self-employed, by working from a very small area, no wider really than this workbench, and building up an arsenal of tools that as big as I could get in my workshop at the time, and then I expanded out to a larger place like this with some natural daylight. As you can see, was before I worked in a basement from home, which is possible. It's totally doable to go to work from home as long as you've got a nice floor space, and health and safety, is all thought out and planned. You can start off a simple operation. The more that you get into wanting to develop, you have to go on a larger sort of scale. Predominantly, my work is based in Leeds, here in my workshop, or my new build workshop. Leeds is a very vibrant place for music, so there's lots of guitar players and lots of musicians, so there's always a stream of work coming, and people that transition, that pass through the city, touring musicians that will come and get based in a show in Leeds and sometimes need a tech to work or something that quickly needs fixing. So I've been on an occasion to pack a small, like a doctor's bag as it were, and go out and do on-site visits and repair some instruments there on location. A couple of different recording studios here and there. And then when it comes to the road work, then you could be placed anywhere from 15 miles down the road to 1,500 miles away. The job's still the same no matter where it is in the world. If the guitar needs this aspect doing to it, then you could be anywhere. But it's a bonus to be able to be fortunate to visit quite a few places with that side of it. Being in charge of my own direction of where I want to take it, being my own, I guess you could call it boss. That's the borderline thing, is being your own boss. That's a joy no matter what you do. And it's a curse as well, of course, because you can never quite switch off. And sometimes it goes past the point of being about a financial thing then. You know, you want to earn the money and be employed, because we all need to earn money and that's what we do. But the creative side of it becomes more about just wanting to create, and the bonus is that you happen to get paid for doing it as well. The biggest challenge is yourself, of course, but sometimes you might have limited resources. Like, I don't have a giant machine shop, or I don't have a what's called a CAD machine or a CNC machine, which is a lot of mass-produced instruments are cut out and a lot of the work's done for you, which is great for productivity time and shipping those things out. But you don't always have those at your disposal, or the funds to be able to get those machines and stuff. So it's about finding out ways to get to that process smooth and clean, using what you have, using the hand tools, and different methods of building. Finding easier, more effective ways to do that is a challenge. Probably not a good work-life balance, because it just becomes your life. There's why I would encourage somebody to find their passion, whether it be in playing the music, making the device that makes the music, being the engineer that records the music, somebody who makes a microphone. It's about finding that passion and being able to make it work for you in a financial way as well, which once a little bit of that stress goes, of the financial worries of day-to-day people's jobs, then you become a bit freer as a person. Your only worry is how you can better yourself. The perks of being a luthier, the side of it, and a repairer, when you see everything come together from the plan that you've drawn on the draft paper, the scale technical drawing side of it, to a finished instrument such as that, which is my latest one I've just finalised. When it's all the parts are just all together how you want it, and it's visually stimulating as much as audio. Once it's strung and I play it, it's like I'm happy with it, so the customer is gonna, you know, they're gonna hopefully think it's phenomenal, which so far to date is the feedback I've had. And then when I get orders from people saying, I've been to the studio and I played one of your types of this and that, can I have one? You know, that's why I do it, really. With when you're wanting to learn a craft, is persistence really is the key. Just keep ploughing through those mistakes, make it again, be right with people and be nice with people, even if they're not nice with you, because things like that can come back to sort of to bite you, if you will, if it's a bit of a harsh word to use, but it can come back to cause you a bit more of a headache, and it's more thoughts in your head that, like, I don't need this, and you can create that yourself. just being true to the cause and being dedicated. That's the real key to success. As much as creating the product or the artwork, you have to be savvy in a way to be able to sell the product. That's what you need to do. So that's another set of skills. Having some financial skills and time management skills. They're the other top tips, really. Leeds is definitely a thriving city musically, and it has been for way before I ever came, to reside upon its shores or whatever, but it's consistently been there for me when I've needed it. I've never been at a loss to go and find an event if I wanted to, and I'm not short of Leeds custom from musicians playing instruments and bands. It's earned its place on the worldwide map for sure. A lot of it's changed since when I were going in the DIY scene, but not vastly. And that's just natural because the city is a transient city because of its university population. It's always rolling, and then people stay, and then they'll make music, and it's been seen. People have come and have met in Leeds, whether they were doing music courses or not, and they've formed bands together because the opportunity's been there for them to play, the venues have been there, the people have been there promoting the shows on a professional, semi-professional DIY, somebody's bedroom. So there's access for people to do it there, and then they've met there and gone on to be platinum selling artists and notoriety and world travellers. Music in soundtracks in movies and television personalities.